everyone who knows me knows that I love to just dive right into whatever I'm going to do. So right now, I'm going to bring you back to a moment in my life. One of my favorite memories growing up would have to be when my family would go out to dinner. Not because of the meal, but because of my father's signature line. In my family, we have the tendency to laugh harder at our own jokes than anyone else. So midway through dinner, as my two sisters and I are eating, food all over our faces, my dad would turn to my mom and say, with a smirk on his face, "You can dress them up, but you can't take them out." And he would turn bright red, bursting with laughter, and to me, that is one of the single memories that I remember the most. But to me, it's much more than a memory. I think that's how it is for everyone. Whether you're young or whether you're old, you can try and fit in, learn the social norms, but we all know at the end of the day, we each have our own little dose of crazy, and it's gonna come out. It's your soul, it's your personality. That is what makes you human. Speaking of personality, this is me. So, full of life, on top of the world, into what I'm doing. I feel like it's a perfect example of my generation. Fully engaged in whatever we do. Fully engaged in whatever we do. Pursuing our passions, pursuing our dreams. Helping and serving others. And we expect the same. I like to say my generation is selflessly selfish. Constantly trying to change the world. Innovating, volunteering. That is what we do, and we believe in this. However, fast forward to graduation, college graduation, something changed. I was like many students applying to jobs, but when graduation came, I didn't have a job in hand. So I went back home and I lived with my family. I took a break for 2 weeks, hanging out with friends, going to the movies, enjoying myself. You quickly learn, though, after spending money and not making any money, you're broke. So I went back to the job I had when I was 15 years old, working for the grocery store Wigman's. I was a maintenance man, cleaning floors, cleaning bathrooms. But when I wasn't doing that, I was applying to jobs. Finally, after 7 months, I got the job that I had always wanted, that I'd focused all of my college experiences towards. To be a college advisor and help change students' lives. That is what I wanted to do. However, about half a year into that job, I felt like I was in a downward spiral. Something did not feel right. I had this thought that just kept creeping into my mind. First monthly, then weekly, and then it began to happen day after day after day. So one night at my house, while my family was downstairs and I was up in my childhood room, I was on my computer pondering the question that had been building up for months. And that's when it happened. That night, in my room, I broke down into tears, sobbing. The question that plagued me for months began to tear me apart. So, what was that question? Would I rather be successful, or would I rather commit suicide? Would I rather be successful, or would I rather commit suicide? I couldn't help but wonder, what happened to this person? Full of life, on top of the world, happy. The feeling of success. See, success is not just money, or it doesn't have to be money at all. Success is something you feel. It's happiness. It's love. It's whatever you want to call it. So, what happened? We each have our own meaning. Whether you go out with friends, whether you go to the movies, you're sharing an experience. So why was I happier cleaning bathrooms and floors than I was at the job that I thought I would love, helping change students' lives. It turns out I'm not alone in this. It's actually pretty common among my generation. So what is this? Oh man, depression rings through. Like it's really deep, like if you think about it. Depression rings true for almost half of millennials at 44%. That's half. This whole room, divide it in half. All of those people have probably experienced depression. But it gets worse. Suicide? Suicide is the third leading cause of death among millennials. Third. Put 3 people in a room, 2 are probably experiencing depression, 1 is pretty likely to commit suicide. So why is that? Let me tell you. We've been told to follow our dreams, to pursue our passions. But when students graduate college, the world does not reciprocate. And people wonder why they're burnt out, they're unhappy, they're depressed. It's because we have an assembly line mentality. So many colleges are shipping students out with thousands of dollars of debt, thousands, that they can barely pay back within their lifetime, all to get a job after they graduate. On top of that, maybe the job will actually be in your field. Oh, it gets even better. On top of that, maybe you'll actually like the job. In businesses are organized so you are easily replaced. Someone else can take your job. It's as if they place you in cubicles like rats, pecking away at the computer, answering emails. And some places have totally gotten rid of the cubicles. Now they just have these big work tables that they place you at. You're constantly being watched. You constantly have to be on. And when you actually try to do something great, when you try to help, you're written up. You're reprimanded because you didn't follow your exact job duties and procedures. You stepped outside them. It's as if they're saying, you can dress them up, but you can't take them out. Like, what kind of a world is that where you can't share what you have to offer? I mean, does it work? Is it human? I don't think so. I mean, look at a typical day, 24 hours. If we were to break it down into 3 8-hour blocks, you have 8 hours for sleeping, if you're lucky, 8 hours for working at the minimum, because we all know we're answering emails past when we're actually at work or supposed to be working. So it's no wonder why people want to love what they do, because if you don't, by the time you get home, by the time you actually have time for that free area, you're so burnt out and lacking energy that you don't even want to do anything else. You don't have the time. You're still trying to catch up doing the dishes, doing dinner, all of the other things. But that's changing. And you can either choose to move forward or you can get left behind. So does that change? Well, if people in a business cannot grow, how do you expect your business or brand to grow and develop? I mean, it's been proven throughout the years that power comes from the people. And if you don't treat people right, you're going to lose that power. You're going to limit your business. But if you trust people, they will work harder for you, be more devoted than you could ever experience. We've all had that boss that we go all the way. They could call us up and we will help them at the last minute. We trust them. We give them that trust. We give them that power. So what did I decide that night? I realized that it wasn't me, that there's a change happening in the world. The game that's been played by businesses and organizations for years, treating people as if they're animals and should strictly do what's dictated, that they don't have anything to share, that's what's causing the disconnect between my generation and the world. So, why do we play these games? In fact, our generation doesn't. We aren't playing the game. We don't play it at all. We're changing it. We're kind, we're authentic, we're sincere. We like to connect, and we like to share experiences. It's human nature. So, Why do you think we're so quick to leave jobs? Why do you think? The max I have for my generation is really staying at a job for 3 years. Come on, 3 years at a job? Most of the people I know, they barely stay a year. However, with that, we are creating more businesses than have ever been created before, entering work environments that actually feel like a family instead of being labeled as one. It's something that's organic. It's something that's not manufactured. Colleges and businesses working off the old paradigm are closing. You have to have a heart in business. You have to be kind, you have to be authentic, and you have to be real. But there are businesses leading the way. I mean, just take a look at Apple. Their employees are so dedicated, so passionate that your products, your devices, they actually feel like they have a soul. They feel like they're a part of you. I mean, that is pretty powerful. Or how about Netflix? There was an amazing interaction with a Netflix employee that went viral. This employee was able to share their personality. They were able to share their personality from behind a computer. Maybe they were working in a cubicle, but they were able to share their personality. So what was this interaction? It was the worst start of a conversation I've ever seen. Hi, I have a problem, over the chat message on the computer. What did the person say? Welcome to the good ship Netflix. What seems to be the situation on deck that's happening, Lieutenant? Like, you can't make that stuff up. You can't put that in a manual that this is how you respond. That's human. It's human nature. We're all creative. We want to share. Or how about Airbnb, the room hosting site? Airbnb, they have some of the most sincere interactions that I have ever seen. So one of my favorites, there was an Airbnb room host who got a message or realized that the guest coming had a family. They tweeted that they wish they had a stroller for that family. Airbnb overnighted a stroller that night, so it was there in time for the family. One of my other favorites, a guest staying with a host of Airbnb tweeted that they were going to see a Pearl Jam concert. By the time they got to the room, there was a Pearl Jam t-shirt waiting for them to wear to the conference. Like, that is amazing. They did not have to do that. They did not have to do those things. And my most favorite, there was a bride on the eve of her wedding, got a message that the host for the bridesmaids had to cancel. The bridesmaids had nowhere to stay. So what did Airbnb do? They immediately gave that bride $1,000, wrote them a personal card wishing them a lifetime of happiness, and covered the room for them. So the bridesmaids had a place to stay at the last minute. They didn't have to do those things, but they decided to do it. But it's more than just tech businesses. It happens locally. Sylvia's Restaurant. They are one of my favorite. On 125th Street in New York City. They actually know my name when I walk in. They actually know my name. So, what about them? It's not just a transaction. It's not just an interaction. It's actually an experience. But it's more than that. It's actually happening globally. It's happening globally. France, there's labor agreements being reached, so there's limited work contact after 6 p.m. After 6 p.m. So hopefully no more of those late night emails. And there's other countries following suit, competitive countries, that are actually leading the way. So, if you don't have a heart in business, you end up with just a job, just a product, or just a business. And nobody wants that, at least not anymore. So, what are you doing in life? Are you trapped in a cubicle, working on the computer, sending emails all day long? Are you actually doing what you want? Are you able to share yourself? Are you able to share yourself? That is the real question. Would you rather be successful, or would you rather commit suicide? Because there's no in-between of living a life half-hearted or running a business half-hearted. You don't need to be a pop star. You don't need to be Apple. You just need to be kind, you need to be happy, and you need to be authentic. You need to be real. It's human nature. So, what is your decision? You either decide to do it or you don't. If you're going to decide, start sharing. Share yourself with the world. Share your zest in what you have to offer. Why would you want to do anything else? Thank you.